Hello and welcome yet again to the Corgi Town USA podcast. I'm Candy Kemp, and in my lap is Chuckles, the president of the Corgi Committee and spokescorg of Corgi Town USA.
Yep. I'm Catherine Cohen.
Catherine Cohen is the executive producer of this podcast. She is also a business coach and a TEDx speaker and my co-host and Corg mom to Digby.
I'm Corg mom to Digby, who is sitting outside a little barrier to try and keep the rest of the corgis at bay. I don't know. Can we keep corgis at bay?
I don't think we can keep them at bay, but maybe somewhat managed.
Somewhat.
Yeah, he and Mortimer are playing. So we are in our new studio setup. Actually, it's not new studio, same studio, but different place. We're at the Corgi Town USA headquarters.
Yes.
So we have 5 corgis in house. We have, of course, Chuckles in my lap, and then we also have my youngest, Mortimer. So he and Digby are having a good old time being squirrely, which is why we have them locked out so they don't knock down our equipment again,
Right.
so that we don't lose our camera and lighting mid-broadcast like we're known to do. But we also have Booger and Hammer, original Corgi committee members, and the honorary Corgi Wiggin is not with us tonight because we thought Mortimer and Digby might be a little much for him.
He's old and he is
he's enjoying his peace and quiet right now.
He
probably.
He's home alone. Yeah. Loving every minute of it.
Yeah. Well, one of the things we like to do, as you well know, dear listener, dear viewer, is we like to showcase artists that either create corgi art or have corgis and create art, and that kind of synergy. And so we have a very special creator, Lindsay Barckholtz. She'll be joining us here. And I'm going to start with talking about a piece of artwork that a friend of mine purchased for me.
Yes.
That I believe got at a local retail store. And a few months ago, a dear friend of mine, Mina, Jax's mom, another corgi friend, she said, I brought you a present. If you are listening and not viewing, I am showing a painting of a beautiful little corgi, and it's just precious, and it's a wonderful piece of art, and it's a very cherished gift. And I later found out that I was Facebook friends with the creator of this very art. So if some of you out there, listener, viewer, I know I have some friends that have the artwork of this painting corgi. We have the creator with us today. So should we bring her on?
Absolutely. Right after a round of It's a Small World.
Yeah. Only one round, though. Not the over and over and over again
That's
of
right.
It's a Small World.
Not like the ride.
Lindsay, welcome.
Hi.
Hi, Lindsay.
It's good to see y'all. I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, we're glad to have you here. We're so excited to talk about this. And I feel like a lot of our audience probably have some of your creations on their walls. So This is really exciting. I didn't know it.
Yes, I actually have at least 5 paintings that are in Marshall's right now. So, well, not right now. They've been in Marshall's over time. I've had, I want to say 5 different ones, and then there's several different colors of each one that are all available either at Marshall's or have been available at TJ Maxx.
I need all the colors.
Though.
Okay.
I need all the colors.
Yes.
I need to go purchase all the colors.
So I want to reiterate for the audience, Marshall's and TJ Maxx, not like a little store here in Phoenix named Marshall's just by happenstance, but Marshall's and TJ Maxx. These are huge national stores.
Yes.
Huge.
It's been a huge blessing. I also had corgi art in a store called Winners Canada, which is a branch of Marshall's. I do not have anything there now. I actually don't have anything in TJ Maxx either. So anybody that might be looking for the corgi art, although it's in Home Goods Marshall's, it's not in TJ Maxx. They have 2 different buyers. So I like to make sure that people know that, because a lot of people go to TJ Maxx because they're like, oh, they're the same thing. But they do have different buyers. So if you do want to go find them, they are typically only at Marshall's now. They used to be in TJ Maxx a long, long time ago.
Okay, so Marshall's. Good. You know, every time I hear their store name, I think of Eminem, because the Marshall Mathers. Oh, Marshall. Sorry. Again, I'm good at digressing, but every time I have help.
Thank you.
Let's not digress any further. I had some questions for you.
Yes.
How long have you been painting?
So painting, I've been doing drawing and painting, I've been doing kind of my whole life. Painting is something I really got into in high school, and then I amped it up after college. I kind of quit during college, and then it became a really therapeutic thing for me afterwards. So it's something that art is something that I've done my whole life, but painting itself, I really started more in high school.
And and you've worked in other mediums. Do you have a favorite?
Yes. I actually prefer paint for the most part. I kind of switch between acrylic paint and watercolor. I like to do both, and it just kind of depends on my mood and how much mess I want to make, because watercolor is a little less messy. Mm-hmm. But I think acrylic is probably one of my favorites because I feel like I can be a little bit more expressive and I can paint pretty quickly with that. So it's just kind of enjoyable. It's therapeutic. It's kind of satisfying. All of a sudden you have a painting there.
Yeah, you get to kind of experience the fruits of your labor.
Yeah, blank canvas, beautiful painting. Boom.
Yeah. It does get everywhere though. My best friend growing up, she's a big artist, and she painted. She used both watercolors and acrylic. I mean, paint was on everything she owned. It's like corgi fur.
Oh yeah. It's exactly the same. I'll literally find paint in my hair, and I wouldn't have painted for a week. I'm like, how?
How many washes have you been hanging out here?
It stays with you,
It's crazy.
It's a signature. It's a signature move, though.
Oh yeah.
Knows you've been working. You're a working artist.
I'm also a teacher, and I just tell my kids every time that they have paint on their face, because they'll have it all over their face, and they'll be like, "Oh no, I need to go wash it off." And I'm like, "But they know you're an artist. This is a good thing."
Right. Shows you've been working.
Yeah. They'll go about their day with paint on their face. It's great.
Aw, that's partly because of you.
Oh, yeah.
Educating.
Aw.
So I have to ask, because, we're corgi enthusiasts here. Mm-hmm. How did corgis become your muse? How did you get started with painting corgis?
So when I was 12, I told my parents I wanted a hamster, and this does go the right direction, I promise. So I told them I wanted a hamster. I researched it really heavily, but at the same time, as I'm researching it, every kid is playing games and stuff. And I was playing Nintendogs, and my parents would always hear me talk about my corgi Nintendog because it was my favorite one. So one day, I'm getting really close to my 12th birthday. I'm still researching the hamster because I'm bent on it. I can only get that because my parents had always said no more dogs, no other pets. I was like, but hamster's small. Mm-hmm. And I convinced them that was going to work, right? So then my dad comes home one day and he's like, okay, if you had the option between hamster and corgi, which way might you go? And I was like, well, obviously I would go for the corgi. So when I was 12, I ended up getting my corgi Duke. So a lot of people who know me personally, he's in all of my photos, and he's in my little Facebook thing. I've had several paintings of Duke that have been in Marshalls and in TJ Maxx. He's a famous little guy. Aww. So that's how he became my muse. I got him when I was 12. He unfortunately recently passed away. He was 14 and a half, but he was my best friend that whole time. And he was a black-headed tri. Mm-hmm. So I would look everywhere to find black-headed tri corgi art, right? Or corgi anything. But all I could ever find was the orange. I love all corgis, but I really wanted some stuff that looked like Duke. So
they're not as represented. You're right.
Yeah, I wanted to represent him. So for myself, I just loved drawing him. And it was therapeutic for me too, just because he's my baby. So that's really what inspired me to start. And I was just a corgi enthusiast anyway. So I was like, this is the right direction to go, right? I'm painting anyway. I've got my sweetest little pup here. Aww. And that's kind of how it started.
Duke was your muse.
He was definitely a muse. And if anybody follows my Instagram, which is Barckholtz, which is my last name, and then _art, I have a bunch of pictures on there of him holding my paintbrush because, he did all my art. So he would actually sit with me every single time I painted, primarily because he wanted to play ball. It wasn't really because he wanted to support me. He was like, Mom, come on, it's time. Let's go. So he would always sit with me when I was doing my art, and he would just watch, or he would sit on my paintings, which was unfortunate in several occasions, or he would just lay his head on my little, I have a table that I sit on the ground because I like to paint on the ground. So he would sit his head on the table, or he would just put his paw on my paintbrush because he knew I was always he knew it was in my hand. So he would put his paw there and be like, maybe she won't use it and she'll play with me instead. So I have lots of pictures of him doing that, and it was really cute.
Oh, that's a wonderful story. What a great way to develop your muse. That makes me so happy.
Yeah, I have
So-
a lot of paintings of him.
Do you have corgis now?
I do not. Since his passing, it was really hard on
It's
me.
hard. Yeah.
I had him over half of my life, and
Yep.
I'm not in a house that is my own right now. So I'm waiting until I have my own house so that I can, get hopefully another corgi puppy and, bring him into my life.
Well, we'll have to have you back on when the new edition joins and have a celebratory episode of Welcome Home Corgi.
Yes, I would love to do that for sure. So it's definitely in the plans, but for right now, I'm just gonna, enjoy other people's corgis when I can.
Yes, and heal. Okay. There's the healing process.
Yes.
Very much.
Yeah, that's my Lilo was my first one. I had one growing up too. That was Kira. Mm-hmm. But my Lilo was mine when I was an adult. He was the first. He was my dog, my pet, not my family's. Right. Mm-hmm. And I had him for nearly 15 years. And I have rescues as well. But I got Chuckles here about 6 months before Lilo passed because I knew that we were on borrowed time. And so I wanted to get a puppy so he could learn from the best dog in the world while I still had him.
Yeah.
So that's how I got Chuckles. So
that seems like it was a really good match.
He knows how special he is, doesn't he?
He does.
Chuckles. He's like, I'm the only one in Mama's lap right now.
Oh yeah, they know it. They eat that up.
Yeah, he's puppicist. That's the word we use here. Puppicist.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I like it.
So I would love to know. We're talking about these retailers, and I think. I'm an artist of sorts. I'm a musician, but I always think that when you're as an artist, I think it's kind of a dream when your work is available for other people to get. And it's actually, again, it's like we were talking about. I had your art. I didn't know that I had your art.
Yes.
It was discovered by
to a lot of people.
Yeah.
I found out recently, I'm a teacher, like I said, I found out one of the teachers that I work with has 2 corgis as well. And she had no idea, that's who I was. And it just ended up being kind of like a funny coincidence because I didn't know she had 2 corgis. She didn't know I was this artist of all these corgi paintings. And it was a fun thing to figure out about each other.
That is a fun thing to figure out about. Well, and being an artist, again, that's like that to me, I think that's fulfilling. I think most artists agree that your work is being, other people are enjoying your work and the work is getting out there and you have fans.
That's easily the best thing.
Yeah.
It's not even so much I absolutely am so blessed to have fans, but the fact that my work can make a difference in people's lives and that it can make people happy. And I've had so many people message me to say this makes me happy. This looks like my dog, or my dog passed away, unfortunately. And this, it brings it back, in a really beautiful way. That means so much more to me than anything else. And then somebody else emailed me to say the other day, they were like, you must be so proud. Did you know that your paintings are very frequently donated for these different fundraising events?
Yeah.
Wow.
And I was like, I never thought that I could have an impact like that, but that meant so much to me. And I was like, this means so much more than anybody can imagine because I want to be able to make that positive impact in the animals' lives. And that was it's such a blessing to be able to do what I do.
And people are fighting over your paintings.
Yes.
That's what an auction is. No, I'll pay more. I'll pay more. I'll pay more.
Yes.
So that's what an auction is. How wonderful.
Yes.
Your chair is noisy. Sorry to interrupt. It's
I know.
I gave Kat the yoga ball chair to sit in and
alleviate the back pain.
Yes, but we're hearing warblies on the microphone. So thank you for listening. We don't have noisy corgi bellies. It's just the yoga ball chair. Okay.
I will try not to move too much.
No, move as much as you need to. I wanted to call that out in case our listeners say, what in the world is going on over there? Just moving furniture on air. That's all.
That's it.
Yeah.
But I wanted to ask, talking about art and being all these people getting to enjoy your work, how did it come about? How did you wind up making a deal where you were in a major retailer? Because I never would have thought to approach a supply chain that way.
Oh yeah, and I never had thought about it either. So I work for the nation's largest publisher of wall art. So you can actually find different publishers for like you can actually do it yourself too. But the one that I work for is a really large conglomerate. It's called Art in Motion Publishing. And they take artwork, and what they do is they scan all of my art. So like I have a painting sitting next to me of a giraffe I can hold up. It's not a corgi, so I apologize for that. But let's say I paint like this giraffe and roller skates here. Oh, there we go.
That is so cute.
Thank you.
I love it. Well, I hope you take cute for what it's intended. I mean, you're an artist, so you have to be careful with adjectives.
I totally do. I'm sorry. I'm like having so much trouble with this. I'm so awkward. It's all right.
Well, if you're listening, the listeners, you definitely want to go to our YouTube page because I showed the painting that I have that many of you might actually have a copy of, but also Lindsay's showing off some other pieces that she has. So you definitely want to go to YouTube.
Yes, I wish I had more sitting right here. That's that one I had to do earlier in the week. And so I have paintings like that, and they're relatively small. And then once I scan them, or the company scans them, they take them and they process them, and then they have the imagery, and then they would say like present it to a company if it fits what a company is looking for. So working through a publisher has benefited me in that way that, you know, I paint it, they scan it, and then they take care of the rest. For other artists that are looking into that, like finding publishers is a really good method of getting your artwork out there. It's really hard, but you can also find like smaller publishers. Like there's another one called Society 6 that you can self-license on. And I do have, that's okay. That's okay. I do have another license on Society 6 where I have a little bit of corgi art, but most of my art goes through Art in Motion Publishing, and you can't double dip. So it's very different, both of them. But that's kind of how it works for me is I go through that publisher, and that's how I was able to get my artwork in those big stores. It wasn't just like approaching the stores myself. That did not happen.
Ding dong. Hi, I have artwork. Do you like to sell it?
Door to door. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's definitely was enlightening to me because I didn't know that it worked that way.
Yeah. So it's like it's like writing a book. You've got a publisher.
And I think that's definitely a key that a lot of people don't even know.
Please excuse our podcast. We have corgis. It gets a little noisy around here sometimes.
That's all right. That's all right. They're like that.
So it sounded like the mail truck may have come into the neighborhood, and as we all know, if we have a corgi, if a mouse farts a mile away, a corgi will hear it.
Oh yeah, Duke, when he was still alive, it was kind of creepy actually. He would stare at the sky, and I'm like, what is he staring at? And all of a sudden like a bird would fly over, and then he would stop. But it's like I never saw the bird. He would just stare at the sky until it went over.
That's creepy.
It was
like,
super
well,
creepy. I was like, what is he looking at?
Do you see ghost? Do you see ghosts, dog?
He heard the bird. Like the bird left 2 miles away 20 minutes ago, and he heard it.
Oh yeah, that was what
So
happened.
funny.
It was so odd.
Well, Chuckles does that too, but he'll do it in the house, and that always freaks me out. I think it's because he hears something, but he'll be staring at something, and then his gaze will wander, and I'm like, "You're freaking me out, man! Stop doing that. We're here by ourselves right now." Yeah, I don't think the mouse. I think the mouse can be farther than a mile away.
Yeah, I think so. I think you're
like
right.
next county.
I think you're right.
Yeah, corgi radar ears.
Yes. Absolutely.
So you were explaining though before Digby rudely interrupted.
That's right. That's my child.
Yeah.
I am so happy to be interrupted by a corgi. It's okay.
Well, we have 5 of them, so your chances are pretty good that that's not going to be the last time while we're reviewing you. But you were explaining the process. So how you kind of explained the process, the process, right? Like you make the paint, you put them on the print, and the publisher kind of mass creates them. Is that what I'm understanding correctly?
What the publisher does is they create the image, or they get the image, they license it. So, now it's protected, it's licensed. And then they have it in an online catalog, which they can then take imagery from and then show to stores. So let's say a store says, we want artwork. So this actually happened, this exact thing. My director I do have an art director who tells me what to do. I actually have two. And he was like, okay, we need you to paint a hipster emu today. And I was like, okay, all right.
Directive.
And like, it has to be fast too. Like usually it's like a really quick turnaround. And so I painted a hipster emu that day. And then the store was like, okay, cool. That was what we wanted. So then that hipster emu was in Marshall's for a very short span of time. It was a limited run, and then that was it. And that's kind of how it works. They will tell us what they want. So they'll give us a general idea of what they're looking for, like these colors, this thing, something that looks like sort of like this, but like take your own spin on it, change it, make it feel like it would go together. So like something that they tell us a lot is like paint something that would go with the blue couch or with the beige couch or something like that, something that feels like it would fit in a room together with it. And like sometimes that's how we have to paint. So that could be any number of things, right? That could be a landscape, that could be trees, that could be a flower, that could be a cow. Or we will get specific things like exactly that, where they told me we need a hipster emu today. So like 5 hours later, like I have a hipster emu all ready to go. And then they can either choose to purchase it or they can choose not to. So it is a little bit of a gamble whether you will sell or not, because they could say like, we don't feel like this is feasible for sale, but that doesn't mean that I will never make money on it. It means that I may not sell it that time, but I may sell it a different time, and it stays in the system forever. And I will always make money if it sells again. So for instance, something could sell years and years and years and years and years in a row. That could happen. And then I would just keep on continuously making money on that. That one image.
Wow.
But
royalties,
yes. And I do make royalties. These images are not stolen. I've actually had quite a few people ask, like, did they steal your art? Like, are they paying you? Are they making sure that you're paid? And I'm like, yes. I don't want anybody to like go attack Marshalls or something saying like, oh, you took this, you took that. They are very careful to make sure that I'm always compensated, when my stuff goes anywhere. Now, like I said,
nice to know that they're a nice nice retailer to work with.
Oh yeah, they're great. So good. Love Marshalls. But like I said, what will happen a lot is they say like, could you paint us something that looks like this? And they may choose to purchase it then, or they may not. But if they do purchase it, then, I would make money on royalties. And if not, then it stays in the queue. And you always know that it's going to be a gamble when you go into it. And I paint at night anyway, because I think it's fun. It's therapeutic for me. So just having a little bit of direction with what I'm painting ended up just being a huge blessing for me. They can say like, paint this, and it may not work out, but I'm going to be painting in the evenings anyway. And they always give me paintings to enjoy. And I can always say like, no, I'm not really feeling it. And they would be like, all right, cool.
Wow.
Yeah, that is really cool.
And you've got
so it's really, really wonderful to work with. And I'm treated very, very well with that.
Yeah, I was thinking you've got to be a little bit of an interior designer, interior decorator, as well as well. Oh,
Start over.
You've got to be.
I was messing with Kat's knobs, and she turned off the microphone and did not hear Digby.
That's because my son was barking again. You've got to be a little bit of an interior designer, an interior decorator to be doing this. Paint something that would go with a blue couch, and what would go to the blue couch? And then, and then if they had this contrasting thing, and you've got to imagine 47 billion people's living rooms, but I think there's a lot of fun in the challenge as well. Yes. I would imagine.
Yeah. And it's funny because sometimes, like, I will say the corgi painting that you have, I painted it kind of for fun. Like, that was more of a, like, they asked me to paint some doggies. And of course, corgi was the first one. And I will say, like, this is kind of just a little known fact about that painting. I painted it twice. So the first time I painted it, the eyes were a little bit too high and they were a little bit too close together, and it was horrifying. So I had to actually take it and like paint over both of the spots by the eyes and then repaint them. And I was so mad that day because I was like, I just, I wasted all this time painting this wrong the first time. I should have blah, 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 blah. And that painting ended up being like the biggest blessing that I have ever had. Like, I am so blessed to be able to, sell that, but even more so that I like continually just have people telling me how much that painting means to them. And that is like the greatest feeling I can express.
Aww.
Well, I certainly love it. I mean, it's a dear friend of mine. And again, we talk about, for those listening, not viewing, I'm just holding the painting in front of my face. So it looks like I have a corgi head, and I'm kind of enjoying this, looking at it on the monitor. But my friend, we talk about how connected the corgi community is. And a good friend of mine, we became very close friends because we're both corgi moms.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And so this gift came from her, and she's like, I had to get this for you because, of course, there's synergy here. We're corgi people, and this is a heartfelt gift. And, of course, I'm sure she saw it and said, oh, my goodness, have to have that. And then I see it, and I say, oh, my gosh, what a wonderful gift. So, yeah, you are creating lots of heartfelt moments. But I do want to ask a question. You were talking a little bit off air about how you said you had different colors for this painting.
Yes. So that painting that you're holding is not the real color. So the color of the painting is actually a little bit more of like a royal blue, like a darker blue that has no green in it. And that's the real color of the painting. I was also telling you off air that I really had wished that I brought it with me because I have the original. It hangs in my classroom. I'm an art teacher, so I actually really like to use these paintings to inspire my students.
Next episode, we'll have you bring it.
Excellent.
Yes.
Yeah, I'll bring a bunch of them because I have more than one painting of corgis that I just still have here. But it's also smaller than that painting. So it's about 8 by 10. Like it's not huge.
Wow.
And it's like a royal blue. And what they do at the publisher sometimes is they alter the paintings to make them more sellable.
Right.
Okay.
And to also like reach out to more markets. Like maybe somebody doesn't like greenish blue. Maybe they like pink. So we have it in pink as well. And then they also have it in the original royal blue color that I made it in. So it does come in 3 colors. It comes in the dark blue, the tealish, greenish color, and then pink. And they alter the color of the backgrounds pretty often on those so that you can just have different buyers that are touched by it in different ways. So that's really cool for me to be able to see. And like I have a painting of Duke that I did as well that's been in Marshall's for a little while. Some people may have that one as well. I have the original one. It's like in my living room, and I'm trying to make sure my 5-year-old doesn't run in here and yell. So if I run out there, like he will come in. So I'm trying to avoid that at the moment. I could get it on my phone and just like flash it at the camera.
Yeah, that'll work. I'm sure everybody watching would love to see it.
Yeah. So that one is originally painted in blue, and a lot of people purchased it in yellow because they changed the background color to yellow on it after it was blue. Ooh, the picture of it I might have doesn't have the stripes on it. So everybody that has it with stripes. I repainted the background on it once.
Ooh.
Well, if you are listening and you have any of these works of art, please comment on our YouTube page or on our Facebook page that, hey, I have Lindsay's art, because I would like to know how many people that listen to us and watch us and have your items in their home.
Yeah.
Yes, that'd be awesome. Here, I've got the picture of it. So this is the painting, but in the picture that is in Marshall's, it has stripes that go all the way around it. So it looks like a starburst. And this is the color that it is. It's blue. And then the background is blue stripes. I just don't have a picture of it like that. I don't know why. I only have this original part.
Oh, it's beautiful, though. It's making my little heart flutter.
It is. It's so
Oh,
cute.
that's Duke. And those tricolor corgis. So again, if you are listening and not viewing, you definitely want to go to our YouTube page so you can see these.
Yes.
But also, she's showing us that Duke was a tricolor corgi, and a lot of us that have tricolor corgis have talked about how underrepresented they are.
Oh, yes.
Behind us is our logo.
Mm-hmm.
This is the Corgi Town USA logo, and the brilliant graphic designer that did this for me, he created it for me, and it was wonderful. And then we made some tweaks to it, but that was one of the tweaks. As I said, and we need to have a corgi. Definitely need a corgi enjoying himself.
Yep.
And and he created it. And I said, I love it. Can you make him a tricolor? Because Chuckles is a tricolor, and he's the spokescork. So I definitely need to, shout out to the tricolor corgi folks that, we got to represent our Chucky.
Oh yeah.
But
sure.
I love it so much. I definitely want to have you on again, Lindsay, in the future, and talk about some more of your art, and then hopefully show off some of your original pieces. you were talking about the size. It made me think. When I think I was 21. Two of my best girlfriends I grew up with. We decided to take a road trip clear across country, and we went to the Salvador Dali Museum in Florida. And I remember we were all excited, love the surrealistic art. But what blew me away is that we'd had some of these prints. We'd had them hanging up on our walls. But a lot of those are murals. And some of them I didn't know. I had no idea the sheer size of the original painting.
Oh, yeah.
And it blows you away to look at something you're used to seeing on a print. And even some of the smaller ones.
Yep.
They had some of Frida's works there as well. And Frida's were like that, where they were small. And you're like, man, it's just a different feeling you get when you see it in a different size.
Live and in person too.
Especially with the originals. Yeah. So that's it's really fascinating for me. Well, Lindsay, we don't want to keep you too long. We know that you're an educator and you create wonderful pieces of art, and you're a busy lady, and you're a mom, and you probably need to get to a very impatient 5-year-old. So we don't want to keep you any longer. But thank you so much for sharing your story.
Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you for sharing your art with us, and thank you for making wonderful pieces of art for us all to enjoy.
Thank you for appreciating it and having me on and letting me be able to like talk to people about it, because I really want people to like understand how much I appreciate them, because them appreciating me means so much more than I can express with words. It's been a huge blessing for me.
Oh, well, it'll keep you going, and we look forward to seeing more pieces, more masterpieces you create.
Yes, absolutely.
So. Well, thank you so much. Have a wonderful evening. Again, we'll have you on again, but thank you for sharing your story.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much. Have a great night.
You too. Good night. How touched are you? I'm like super touched.
I go for, well, I love the paintings. I love the blue one that she showed us.
Yeah.
That's so pretty. I love that I know somebody famous, like somebody who's
I have famous friends.
They're designing stuff that's in your house and my house.
Corgi royalty. We are name dropping over here.
Yeah. That's what impresses me.
Yeah.
And the beauty of the artwork. It's really quite lovely.
It is. I need to get more pieces. I need all the colors now.
You do need all the colors.
Hang them up at Corgi Town, USA.
Yes. For all the rooms, all the colors.
All the rooms, all the colors. Well, audience, we hope that you've enjoyed this. Please be sure and go up to Marshall's and buy some of this art. You're supporting a mommy and an independent artist and doing good work, and it's all from a very heartfelt place.
And she's a teacher
and an educator. Yes,
yeah, she's
very
an
important.
Educator, like keeping track of your children and teaching them good stuff.
I thought I was going to have to identify myself there. Look at you. You're getting more PC by the day. Okay.
I'll write it in the comments later.
No. Well, we are here for you every Thursday here at Corgi Town, USA, celebrating all things Corgi, life, love, art, lifestyle of the Corgi, traveling with your Corgi, living with Corgis, loving Corgis, dealing with Corgis, all the things that come with that. But join us every Thursday. Follow us on TikTok, follow us on Facebook, follow us on YouTube. Please like and subscribe. We're on all the things, the Instagrams. All the Instagrams. But yes, please like, subscribe, follow. Please keep following us. We need this. We're also an independent business. We need you to shout out from the rooftops that you also love your Corgis and love the Corgi lifestyle. And we like to hear from you.
We do.
So have a great night. Candy, Cat, Chuckles, and the entire Corgi committee signing off. Corgi Town, USA.
Bye.